Combat Insiders here. Joshua Furs, Wayne Carl over there on the other side with their special guest via Skype, Aidan Aguilera, number 11 ranked, active Australia, New Zealand, according to Tapology. 8-2, fighting out of Melbourne, Australia, instructor at Adrenaline MMA. Aidan, what's going on, my friend?
Not much, man. You just caught me in between sessions, so I'll just have a chat with you boys and then get back to work again.
Nice, man. Before I head over to Aidan, I want to thank Josh again for getting the second Australian name right. He can't pronounce my name, so he's got yours sorted. So, yeah, it should be a good show. Mate, any fights on the horizon? I know there's a Hex coming up. You've got a Hex T-shirt on. Is there any matchup for you later in the month? Are you preparing for a fight? What's next for Aidan?
Yeah, the plan is that I'll have a matchup for that Hex card in late March, which will be good to get back in there.
Let's go backtrack to your past, man. What made you kind of get into MMA? What got you going into it?
Long story short, I was kind of just an unfit kid. I was about 13 and needed to take up another sport. I was big into the fake wrestling, like professional wrestling at the time. Mum's like, no, you can't do that. You can try the real one if you want. And it's the best decision I ever made. Went to a gym that was basically just closest to me at that point, and met a fellow called Chris Brown down there. He's a 5-time Olympian, and I've been under him ever since. Like 14 years later, yeah.
Well, I'm an unfit 40-year-old, so maybe I should join an MMA gym. Probably not going to happen, mate. I want to throw it. So obviously you're commentating at Path to Hex. I've seen you not long ago. If you're not going to be a fighter, just say career ends, say 20 years down the track, what's your dream job?
Probably coaching first, but I want to stay involved. So anything, like if I can get into commentating, that'd be awesome. I don't know if I'm the best for it. I'm working at it, trying to get better at it. But I'd like to stay involved. But coaching is a big one for me. Really enjoy doing that. So that's the plan, is hopefully set myself up to be a really good coach down the line.
Your favorite Hex fight that you've been in?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Probably my fight against Shem Murdoch. It was after my very first loss, and this guy is insanely tough. Like, I threw everything I had at him, and it got to the point where I actually thought, oh, he's not going to go down, and I actually had to take my foot off the pedal a bit. But luckily I caught him again later on in that same round. But yeah, that was a fun one.
He fights Saturday on FC. I'm actually flying up to Queensland to see him fight, so should be a good fight. Was that your toughest fight, or you do have 2 losses? So in your whole career, what would be your toughest test, do you think?
Oh, it's hard. I feel like my losses, not making any excuses, they were my fault more than anything else. I was just not mentally firing in the right way or in a weird headspace at the time, and my life kind of caught up to me in those fights. But that's hard. My first loss was pretty tough physically because I had a few injuries going on. Like, some came up in the fight. I went into them with a couple, so that was not fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, almost every fight's hard. Like, it's part of it. It's hard to say which was my toughest. Yeah. But maybe the Zuri fight.
I seen your versus at Zuri, and it was like, even when you lost, you sort of just looked around like, I don't know what the hell just happened. It was like you were more disappointed in yourself than losing.
Shattered, yeah. It was one of those things where I got too comfortable with the whole thing, I think. I thought that was a good thing at the time going in there, thinking, oh man, I'm so calm, but I just wasn't firing. And that sucked because he got me in, I think, like 4 rear naked chokes, and he finally put me out with the 4th one. But I got out of 3 of them. But I remember the end of that first round, he had me in a rear naked choke for about 15 seconds, and it was on. Like, that sucked. That was not fun.
Yeah, they call him the tarantula for a reason, because once he gets hold of you, you want to stand. So, yeah.
Dana White calls you up tomorrow. You could have anybody you want. Who are you fighting?
That's a hard one. That's a real hard one. It was one of those ones where when they were coming to Melbourne recently and there was an injury, I know that I was in the talks for it just through circumstance. I know there's plenty of good guys out there. It's just I'm in Melbourne and I was ready. And I love the idea of fighting Lando Venata. That would have been really fun because I really like his style. It's one of those guys where he's far better than his record is. And it would have been a really fun fight to take. But if he calls me, I'll fight whoever he tells me to. I'll fight Khabib.
I've got a perfect matchup for you stylistically. John McDesser. That's for me. I think he's shorter than you. You're longer. Everything that you do, I think you match up. So if you ever get that call, mate, call him out.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's not working. Yeah.
Well, what do you feel are your biggest strengths, and I guess maybe even the flip side, your biggest weaknesses?
It's one of those things where I kind of pride myself on being really well-rounded, and my martial arts training before becoming an MMA fighter was very well-rounded. But I think probably my biggest strength is creativity in the sense that I've got a big bag of tricks. I'm kind of one of those jack of all trades, master of none kind of guys. And I think that's probably where my weaknesses come in, is that I don't have, if one guy is better at me at striking, he's just the better striker, you know? It's one of those things where I'm trying to think how to word it. Yeah, it's just I'm a jack of all trades. I'm not a master of any. It's probably the best way to word it.
So I want to go back to the Togo fight. He just had a massive win at BFC. Now, you hold a victory, and I was there that night. You were getting beat, and as you just said, you're a jack of all trades. He was probably getting the better of you on the stand-up, and then in a split second, you latched onto, I think it was an armbar from the bottom, and the fight was over. So, again, that probably backs up what you're saying. Wherever the fight goes, you're able to adapt.
I'd like to think I can do that, yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to flick it back to the local scene, mate. We've got Hex, DFC, XFC. So is there a local fighter that you actually like to follow? Like, have you got a favourite in the local Australian, New Zealand scene that you say, you know what, I'm going to come out of the dressing room to watch this guy fight?
Oh, that's a good one. There's a bunch of really fun guys out there at the moment. Like, I'm trying to think of guys that always have good fights. Like, Kit Campbell always has great wars. Is real fun to watch. Darwin Sagarip, watching him kill people was always fun. Obviously,
I love it because he's my height. I love watching Darwin my height, and he smashes people. And I'm like, see, little guy, midgets can do that, so it's good.
Yeah, he's a monster. Yeah, there's like any of my teammates. Obviously, I'll be there, you know, with bells on. Like, I've got a bunch of up and comers at my gym. I'm really excited to see what they can do. But it's a hard one. There's a lot of fun fighters out there. None of them are coming to mind right now. I'm sure.
Who's the favourite at your gym? So pick one. I know you're probably going to upset everyone, but stuff them. Who's the favourite at your gym? Favourite up and comer? Come on, I'll put you on the spot.
I'm going to fence it a little bit in the sense that there's one fella that gets injured every fight he has, so he fights very, very rarely. But his name's Dan Hornsby. He's an amateur. Yep. Real unassuming looks like a little nerd, just comes out and just kills people. Like, he's there to murder people. It's always fun to watch that.
UFC-wise, when you hear someone's on a certain card, you hear the name and you're like, man, no matter where I'm at, I got to watch that fight. Who does that for you? Like, who's someone that you have to tune into every time you see him?
Okay, there's a bunch there. Anthony Pettis is a big one. I used to still love watching him fight, but he was always one of my favourites, especially back in the WEC days. Don Cerrone's a fun one. Jose Aldo, one of the best strikers of all time. I think he doesn't get the respect he deserves because of what happened with Conor. It's like one of those things where I feel like you're allowed to have one, you know, every 30 fights or so you can have that happen.
What do you think about him jumping up to, or possibly jumping up to 155? You think that's a good move for him?
At this stage of his career, yeah, for sure. Like, I don't think he's really chasing titles anymore. I hope he's realistic enough not to, but it's going to be a lot healthier for him, you know, especially as he starts to age, you know, it makes it cut a lot less, because he obviously cuts a fair bit in the first place. So if it makes him feel better and lets him keep performing for a little longer, sure, go for it.
Mate, the interim titles, at the moment, the UFC are obsessed with double champs and interim this and interim that. I hate interim titles. What are your thoughts?
Oh, it's dumb. It's so stupid. It's just, they're just filling in voids so they can put on cards, I think. It's silly. Like, it's bizarre, like, especially the Colby Covington situation where they just gave, like, he won one and they just took it off him, like, for no real reason when he wanted to fight Woodley. Yeah. So, well, he wanted to unify it, and I was like, no, I think, who else did that happen to? Tony Ferguson, didn't it? He got injured and they took it off.
Yeah, he got injured and they took it away, and then he should have in my brain, he should have gotten, you know, the first title shot, and then they messed that up, and then they just made Holloway and Dustin Poirier. A
lot of it stems from the double champ stuff. Like, people keep going for double championships, and it kind of holds up the whole division. Yeah. I know it's a hard one, but it's stupid. Yeah. I don't know. It's silly.
Agreed. I guess it's kind of a compromise because I think when we, especially when they did Stipe and DC, I think we were all excited at the idea of a, you know, double champ. Well, of course, Connor did it with Eddie, but I think we were all excited about the whole double champ thing and how cool it would be. And now I think it's kind of bit us. I think it's kind of bit us in the butt a little bit because now it's jamming up divisions. The women's featherweight division is going away now because Amanda Nunes, she's like, I'm not fighting Chris again. I'm not going back up to 145. Just straight up won the belt, left, and now the whole division is gone because all it was Cyborg. I mean, that's pretty much it. You had Cyborg, you had maybe like
there's a fairly good-looking woman from Australia just quietly that you're forgetting there.
Megan, yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm going to send her over to America to remind you that she's still there. So hopefully she gets a crack at it.
Well, she can cut. Can she cut the 135, or is that too much for her?
Oh, no, it's huge.
It's a hard cut.
Okay. So, bare knuckle boxing, man. Have you seen it yet? And what are your thoughts on it?
I have seen a little bit of it. I dig it. I'm all for it. Like, two consenting adults should be able to do whatever they want to do. It's one of those things where, like, I think my last opponent had done a bunch of Lethway fights, like bare knuckle, and I dig Lethway too. I think Lethway is really cool.
Nice. We obviously cover bare knuckle boxing a lot. The boys over in America do. So we like to ask people what they think. We're trying to get that out there. Mate, I'm going to fly into my rapid fire 5 questions. So think quick. Blonde or brunette?
Blonde.
KO or sub win?
KO.
Cheap food, KFC or McDonald's?
McDonald's.
Pick your poison, a walk-off punch from Mark Hunt or an uppercut from Francis Ngannou?
Mark Hunt.
All right, last one. Now, you're standing there, you got a gun to your head, you got to pick something. You got to fight or you got to marry Chris Cyborg. What are you doing?
I'm going to fight her. Yeah, I'm going to fight her.
What are the chances of you getting out of round 1 with her, though?
So, say that again?
What are the chances of you getting out of round 1?
Oh, I reckon I could do okay against her. She's a monster, but I reckon I'll do all right.
I ask everyone that question, mate. I'd marry her because I reckon if she hit me with a jab, I'd be asleep. So I'm just going to marry the girl. It is what it is.
I was just going to say, is he the first one to say he would fight her? Everybody else did marry her, right?
Yeah. No, I think there's been a couple early days, but most people just say, "No, man, I'll marry her." Stuff that. So. Good.
I'd rather the concussion either way.
There you go. Hey, so Aidan, real quick, where can your fans get a hold of you social media wise, and maybe shout out to your gym, sponsors, anything like that?
Yeah, sweet. It's basically Aidan Aguilera MMA everywhere. So on Instagram, Facebook. I don't actually have Twitter yet. I need to sort that out. But just Aidan Aguilera MMA. It's Aguilera like Christina Aguilera. This is the best way to remember how to spell it. My gym is Adrenaline MMA and Fitness. It's in Cheltenham, 25 Taunton Drive. If you ever want to come down and have a look, see how things are, you're more than welcome to come down and have a look. We do a free trial, so you can come try out a class. You're more than welcome, even if you don't know anything. We'd love to see you down there. It's a great facility. We've got really high-level coaches. I mean, I do all my training there myself, and I do this for a living and take it very seriously. So it's got everything you need.
It was our absolute pleasure. We thank you so much for your time, man, and we can't wait to see you again. Can't wait to see your fight again. So, for Wayne Carl,
thank you.
For Josh Furs, that's Aidan Aguilera. We're Combat Insiders, and we're out.